Dear viewers, our topic today is Stereotypes of the Orient. In simple words, stereotype is a standardized mental picture that is held in common by members of a group. It also represents an oversimplified opinion, prejudiced attitude, or uncritical judgment. With reference to our present topic, it can be safely assumed that the stereotypes of the Orient are the oversimplified opinions of the West about the Orient. These oversimplified opinions spring from the prejudiced attitude of the West about the Orient. The stereotypes of the Orient are as under. Number 1. The Orient is timeless. When it is said that the Orient is timeless, it implies that the Orient is steeped in ignorance vis-à-vis the West, which is the place of historical progress and scientific development. The Orient is trapped in antiquity, whereas the West is shedding the light of enlightenment and modernity. Thus, the Orient is changeless and static. It is cut off from the progress of the modern world. Number 2. The Orient is strange. The stereotype of the Orient's peculiarity is crucial to Orientalism. It implies that the Orient is not just different, it is oddly different. It is different to the point of being bizarre. The Orient was a source of mirth and marvel for Western writers. It aroused their curiosity, but its radical oddness gave the impression of inferiority. If the Occident was rational, sensible, and familiar, the Orient was irrational, extraordinary, and abnormal. The binary of normality and abnormality establishes that it is the West which defines the standard of normality. The standard of normality derives from the concept of rationalism and enlightenment. Western people were very proud of these concepts and looked at the rest of the world through these concepts. Number 3. Orientalism makes assumptions about race. Oriental people often appeared in Western representations as examples of invidious or unjust racial stereotypes. These representations were intended to underscore the inherent racial characteristics of Orientals. Through these representations, Arabs were presented as violent and Indians as lazy. The stereotypes of race ignored the individual traits of the Orientals and established a general negative representational framework in which Orientals were made to conform to certain types. The framework establishes that the Orient was a matrix of inferior races, and by implication, the West was culturally superior. Number 4. Orientalism makes assumptions about gender. Apart from racial stereotypes, Orientalism also makes assumptions about gender. These representations presented Oriental males as effeminate and Oriental females as sexually promiscuous. The Oriental male lacks in manliness and appears more like a female than a male. On the other hand, Oriental female appears as a voluptuous nude, tempting the onlookers. She is an active, immodest creature, symbolizing mysteriously erotic delight. In both these roles, the Oriental is not in keeping with received or normal gender roles. Men should be active, courageous, strong, and women should be passive, moral, chaste. But Oriental men and women do not comply with these gender roles. It implies that their identity is transgressive. They are what they are not supposed to be. Number 5. The Orient is feminine. In Orientalism, the East as a whole is feminized. It is supposed that the East or the Orient is passive, submissive, exotic, luxurious, and tempting. On the other hand, the West is considered masculine. The West is active, dominant, heroic, rational, self controlled, and ascetic. These stereotypes explain the colonizers' desire to explore and domesticate the Orient. In this context, Edward said, Orientalism is exclusively male province. It responded to the discourses of heroism common in the Western colonial nations. As a matter of fact, the Orient is the projection of the fantasies of the West. It is a desirable repository of all that is constrained or prohibited by the Western civilization. Number 6. The Oriental is degenerate. Oriental stereotypes attach weaknesses like cowardliness, untrustworthiness, laziness, laxity, violence, and lust to Oriental people. That is why it is considered necessary to civilize them. In this way, Orientalism justifies the propriety of colonialism. It claims that Oriental peoples need to be civilized. To conclude, it can be said that the stereotypes of Orientalism are fashioned to present the Orient in a particular light. It also justifies that it is white man's burden to civilize the people of the Orient. Thank you very much.